Hey, Team Human. Sunshine here. We're going to just keep going. We're just continuing to make videos here. We're waiting for Big Fish to show up with the furniture, and you want to see Big Fish, but I will just keep recording. We are going to talk. I'm going to talk with you about posture. This is a really important idea that I think a lot of us are not paying a lot of attention to. How are we carrying ourselves through the day, and just what are we bringing as we present our bodies, to the world? And we do it through posture. It really doesn't it say that if somebody's like this, yeah, it gives you a clue to what's going on with that human. Versus they're standing straight, they got the shoulders up and down and relaxed, and if I could stand up, well, I could stand up for you. Okay, maybe I should do that. Here, let's try. Remember, I am in a wheelchair. Well, you can't tell that, can you? Okay, 1, 2, 3. So it's how I stand up now. Ooh, look at that. Oh my God, my physical therapists are like, oh my God, we did that. Yes, you see, because what happened to me this summer is I walk. This is my greatest joy, and I would walk for miles every day because I'm trying to write a book and live life and blah blah blah. But anyway, so I would walk miles every day, and I really noticed how important it was to get my posture organized, to get my walk correctly, and so it really helps my back. Boy, did I learn once I started really working on my core and keeping it together. It just took all sorts of pressure off my back. But I was like, wow, I wish I'd known that. I had, some back issues, not issues, but I would have back soreness from time. And now, once I, got it together, I didn't know what my core was. When I first started working with a trainer that had been 5 years now, and I said, how you got to strengthen your core? And he was a really cute young man. I didn't have the heart to, I don't know what my core is. I don't know where it is or what it does. I'm pretty sure I have one, because they're very popular now. Strengthen your core. But it has meant the world to me, because when I could really pull it together and walk correctly, first of all, I felt powerful. I felt together, and my back didn't hurt, and people will smile at you. We're going to talk about smiling. It is so very important to Team Human. We need to start smiling a whole bunch more, and smiling at each other, not in threatening ways, but really in a friendly way. When you see people out on the streets and you're walking, maybe they're wheeling, but smile. Once I left home and got divorced, and I was all by my lonesome, and I decided to move to places where I didn't know anybody. It was a curious choice, but it worked out in the end. I guess I got here, and I'm happy I'm still alive and going forward. But what really, really worked for me, especially on those low days, when I'm like, I don't know anybody, I've just made some, pretty dramatic changes, and I'm lonely. I want to connect with people, and so I just started smiling during my walks. You don't need to know someone before you can smile at them. It really is the most insanely wonderful part of being human, if you use it, kids. So remember to smile. And I can't sort this site. I read this somewhere that 70% of the time, if you smile at a stranger, they will smile back. And then you will both go, oh, I feel better. That always works for me. If I'm a little low and I smile at somebody and they smile back at me, it's like, oh, it's a refreshing, reminder that life is hard but not impossible. If you're looking at the bright side, which is with a smile, we can help each other, get through the day, and just, maybe instead of, a pastry, you could have a little nice, I smiled, they smiled, and it was refreshing. And I used to keep, I hope I can find this, that it was called my Smile Logbook. I would write down particularly great smiles, and that I shared with a stranger, and so I could remember them. And we'll tell. This is one of my all-time favorites, but I will go ahead and tell it to you. Now, I hadn't thought about this since I am now in a wheelchair. I always cross on the light. Where I've lived, you have to be careful. as a pedestrian, because believe me, cars don't care. They would prefer to hit you. They would prefer to hit you. So you got to be on your toes. You got to be on your toes or your wheels, and pay attention to what's going on. So I always cross at the light. Very important. Cross at the light when I have the right of way. And so I punched a BMW once. I was so mad at him. I'm like, it's my turn. Anyway, so don't do that. Don't punch anybody or their cars. But I was just so frustrated because it's my turn to go. And so anyway, I'm trying to tell you the smile. So I'm crossing in the crosswalk. I've got the light. Don't mess with me. And I see a gentleman coming towards me in the crosswalk, and he was using a motorized chair, and looked, a little larger guy, and he was on oxygen, and I was like, now that I'm in a wheelchair, God, this really makes me sad. But I'm like, well, he's in a wheelchair, and he has to use oxygen, and isn't that sad? And so I was kind of putting myself in his shoes, but I had no information about this gentleman, and I smiled at him, and he gave me the most insanely beautiful smile back. I could tell that not only, he was okay, and he was glad to be happy. I mean, he was glad. He's in his chair, and he had his oxygen, but he had it together, and I was just so happy that we had that moment together, because I think he liked it too. And that is one of my greatest hopes, that, as I go through the day, that I can bring a smile or two to other people, because I have my posture. Yeah, I look, once I get back on my feet, which I hope I will never forget my core once I found it. I remember Justin going, what do you mean you don't know where core is? I was expecting like a little diagram or something. So we'll get Big Fish on here to talk about the core and how important it is. You gotta get your core, strengthen it, and it'll help you lose weight. No kidding. Loves to all. Sunshine.